Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and the Pokemon TCG has a lot of cards, and let's be honest, a lot of them are kind of bad, right? So today we're going to be taking a look at the 10 worst trainer cards in Standard right now. Tell me down below in the comment section, though, if you want me to do this in not just Standard, because there are some worse ones that are older as well. I didn't want to quite go into all those, and let's be honest, that's people don't care as much about not Standard. But yeah, I mean, I also just do this just with trainer cards because I could do all the cards, but there's a lot of Pokemon that are bad, but they're like very generic, and really hard to differentiate between. It's just a big mess. So I'm just looking at the trainers here today. Also, everyone, Merry Christmas. I think this video is releasing on Christmas. I guess it could also depend on your time zone and my upload schedule. But let's just hop right in here with a couple of honorable mentions here. First of all, we have Friends in Paldea. Friends in Paldea is a supporter that draws you 3 cards. This isn't very good, right? Let's be honest. We all kind of know drawing through in a supporter is not very good. It's a bit overhated. It's not like super, super terrible, but it's definitely not very good. There's a bunch of cards like this, and some of them have even seen a little bit of play. They're certainly not particularly good, but I did want to mention them here. I feel like I kind of had to. Then I have, let's be honest, if you know me, you know I was going to include this card. It's Joseph's Machinations. This card's kind of bad because it forces your opponent to discard down to 3 cards in hand. That being said, most of the time, your opponent's best 3 cards in hand aren't that much worse than their entire hand, and it's a board that doesn't do anything for you, so it comes up as pretty underwhelming a lot of the time. That being said, it's the best option to do what it does. It's pretty unique, and it can be useful in some situations. Especially with like other hand disruption. In that situation, the other hand disruption is usually doing a lot more work, but Joseph's Machinations is still like okay. It's like I'd say probably slightly below average supporter out of all the supporters in the game, but it's okay. I did want to mention it though because it is kind of bad. I made a whole video on why it's overrated, but it's not terrible by any means, I guess. But then we have the third honorable mention. I have 4 here today. This is Snorlax Stall. This card can be played as a 120 HP basic colorless Pokemon during setup, but it can't be played during the rest of the game. So, like, there's a card that is literally unplayable the entire game. Like, after once the game starts, you can't do anything with it. So, that's bad, right? That's obviously bad. There are, I mean, have you a 120 HP basic Pokemon in play? Oh, it doesn't give it any prizes. I didn't say that. It doesn't give it any prizes. That's a really big deal. That's a good card to have in play. It's not like super good. It can't retreat, but it's definitely decent. And it has some like weird shenanigans you can do with this card as well. By comboing it with like you can like do mulligan stuff, and you can pair it with like Cinderace and stuff. The things you can do with it aren't particularly good. I'm not gonna lie, but they are really fun, and it's seen a little bit of play here and there. It's not that much. Let's be honest, this card's bad, but I think it just avoids the list. Then we have the last honorable mention. This card is also pretty bad here. It's an item that says you can only play this turn when going second, but then you put an energy attached to your opponent's active into their hand. It's like decent energy disruption, I guess, ignoring the turn restriction, or I guess ignoring the turn restriction. It's just quite good, but it doesn't even discard the energy, and then you can only play on one specific turn in like half of your game. So that is kind of bad. That being said, this card works with the Meowstic, where you just discard this card and then you gust. So it's like okay, I guess. I haven't really messed with it too much, but I do think it is an alright card. So figured it just avoids the top 10 or the bottom 10 here. But then we have the actual bottom 10 here. And the first card here, I guess I'll talk about 9 and 10 together. We got Berry, horrible card name. Maybe I'm mispronouncing it, but anyways. And then we have Pasho Berry. There's I think 6 berry cards, and these are the 2 worst in my opinion. This one reduces damage by water Pokemon, and the Berry here reduces it by metal Pokemon, where it says they take 60 less damage, but then you discard this card. So it's a one-time 60 damage reduction. Metal is, I mean, metal is, I guess, a decent type, but Goldengo can, like, scale past this, and that's the top metal deck by far. So the Berry is going to be not very meaningful that often. It could do something at some point, I guess, but it's not particularly good. Then water is also not very good. You have Professor Pontiacs, which is a good card. It's really targeting your bench, but hitting your active is like meaningful. But ultimately, this card's also bad. I mean, they're one-time damage reduction. If they were repeated, I think they'd be okay. But really, all of these are pretty bad. I don't think any of them have really seen much play at all. And yeah, there's not too much to look at beyond the exactly what they are. They are pretty obviously not very good. I mean, they do reduce a bunch of damage, which is meaningful, but again, it's a one time. There's things that reduce it repeatedly, and they're not even very good. Also, sorry if there's any background noise, or if I sound distracted. Yeah, there's some stuff going on outside right now. Then we have the next card, the number 8 card here, the 8th worst trainer in the game. This is Lieutenant Surge's Bargain, where you ask your opponent, it's a supporter here as well, you ask your opponent if each player may take a prize, and then if yes, then you do that. And then if they say no, then you draw 4. Drawing 4 on the supporter is pretty good. Drawing 3, we talked about that being like kind of bad, or like kind of meh to bad. But drawing 4 is good, I guess. But then your opponent gets to choose, and presumably they'll say yes or no to the drawing 4. So yes to the each player takes a prize. Obviously, they won't say if they would lose, and each player taking a prize and help you. I feel like this card's I don't know. I feel like it's mostly useless most of the time, and cards that give your opponent a choice are generally pretty bad. I mean, they're not always terrible, I guess, but for the most part, they're not very good. So Lieutenant Surge's Bargain is definitely a card that is really funny and really bad. I would just remembered another honorable mention, which I'm going to quickly mention now. This card isn't out yet. That's why it's not here, and why I didn't include it, because it's not out. But that card is the where is it? It's out in Japan. That's why I'm mentioning it. Oh, it is from Mega Dream. Yes, it's the end supporter, where you need to set up some absurd combo, and then you take extra prizes. It would probably come in somewhere around here on the list, anyways. But yeah, you do all these Pokemon to play, and then you take a bunch of extra prizes, but you can't set it up, right? That's the issue. But then we have another supporter here, which is Tyme. This is another draw 4 supporter, I guess. There's a lot of draw 4 supporters, or draw 2/draw 4s. But this one here says you tell your opponent the name of a Pokemon in your hand and put that Pokemon face down in front of you. And then your opponent guesses the Pokemon's HP, and then you reveal it. And if they guessed right, you draw, or they draw 4. And then if they guessed wrong, you draw 4. And then you return it to your hand. So even if you consider that your opponent always guesses wrong, which they'll probably guess right, right? Let's be honest, they'll probably guess right. The only way, I mean, I'll talk about this card. I think I played with this card some on the channel, but even if it's a draw 4, you still need a Pokemon in your hand to use this, which you won't always have, especially if you're in a bad situation, which is generally where you're looking to use draw supporters. So even if it was reveal a Pokemon, draw 4, it would be okay, but it wouldn't be super good. But it's not. So generally, it's going to be reveal a Pokemon your opponent draws 4, because I mean there are some Pokemon where there are different options about HP amounts. There are theoretically you could mix it up in a weird way, but this kind of means that you're playing bad cards in your deck, and a lot of cards if it's Dreepy, there's no question, right? So there's a lot of Pokemon where there isn't any question. Essentially all the EXs, not all the EXs, but a lot of the X's, pretty much all the X's that see play, there's not really any question. Your opponent could not know as well. Most people know. I mean, if you're playing this in person at a tournament, presumably your opponent knows. And then if you're playing this online, they could just look it up. So you need to be playing casually with friends, where this actually is kind of good, I guess. But you can also kind of, I mean, one person draws cards, so you drawing 4 is good, and if your opponent draws 4, then that is getting him closer to decking out, so you can use it in a mill deck. But the situations for this card being useful are pretty niche. It's again, it can be a draw 4, like Lieutenant Surge's plan or whatever. What's that called? Yeah, Lieutenant Surge's oh, I must have closed it. But yeah, Lieutenant Surge's plan is okay. I don't know what it's called. Oh, bargain. There we go. I don't know. That might have been a translation of it that I was thinking of, but as you can tell, these cards are bad. I don't know them. I don't play with them very much. But yeah, Tyme is really funny. It is a very funny card, I will admit, but it is quite bad. Then we have the next card here. This is another supporter. This could arguably be even lower on the list. This is the last draw supporter here, which is Caretaker, which is you draw 2, and then if you drew any cards in this way, and community center is in play, which is a stadium. The stadium's like okay, but it's not very good. But it does like something. But it doesn't have any synergy with the supporter outside of the fact that they this refers to it. But then you shuffle this Caretaker into your deck instead of discarding it. This is interesting, a really unique card. That being said, it's like bad. I mean, draw 2. It's draw 2, and kind of reminds me of Kahili, I think. That the right card? Yeah. Or to draw 2, then on a coin flip, you return to your hand. But this doesn't go back to your hand. It goes back to your deck. And so that's like a lot worse. Because you don't like this card's not good. Drawing it more times isn't really good. I guess it's better to redraw it if it's like your only supporter. Drawing 2 at essentially no downside in that situation is like good. It's just good. It's not like crazy good. But it is good. And then you're doing the stadium as well. I mean, there's also some like funny synergies where you can like, I mean, you don't discard this. So if you want to not have extra cards in your discard, it could be useful. Not really sure the situation for that, but it has some like funny synergies. I mean, in expanded or older formats, there was like Claydol, where I know one common fossil played that, but that was pretty bad. I don't know if he actually played on his channel. But yeah, I mean this card is bad. It could honestly be like lower in the bottom 5. It's number 6 here, but it is quite bad. Then we have the last supporter on this list, which is Raifort. Raifort. Oh, also a lot of these cards came out in like weird products in Japan, by the way. And that's why they're very bad. But Raifort says you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, discard any number, put the rest back in any order. This is bad because it doesn't like do anything. I mean, it like lets you rearrange your deck some, and you can get stuff in the discard, which is like okay, I guess. But if this was on an item, it would be like all right. I feel like it would fit as an item. And it's not right. It's a supporter. And it doesn't draw you cards. It doesn't get you very much control over what you're discarding or what you're drawing. It gets you like some control. But you compare this to Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking, which controls the next 2 cards you draw from your entire deck, and then you look at like something like maybe Professor Burnett, which searches for 2 and discards them. Those are like okay. And this is like worse. It doesn't really have any control over your deck. I mean, it has a little bit of control, but it's only looking at the top 5. So if your top 5 is like perfect, then this could be good. But most of the time, it's very bad. You look at Explorer's Guidance. Explorer's Guidance is that the right name? That's gotta be, surely. Yeah, okay. I was like, I'm really off my game today, but at least I got that right. And yeah, you look at the top 6, which is more. You draw 2 of them, you discard the other ones. You don't rearrange the top of your deck, but you actually draw cards, and you also discard probably more, which is probably better. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, it draws you cards, right? So Raifort seems like it should draw 1, maybe, and then it would be like, okay. It would be actually like kind of interesting, but it doesn't. It does like a whole lot of nothing. So it's quite bad here. But there are 4 cards worse than this, which is kind of crazy. Most of them, I will say, are stadiums. There's some really weird ones here. The first stadium we have on the list is Dizzying Valley. Dizzying Valley is from the newest expansion, Phantasmal Flames, and it says, confuse Pokemon, both yours and your opponents. Don't recover from that special condition when they evolve or devolve. This is very situational. You need to be playing a confusion-based deck. Those decks like don't really exist, to be honest. There's like the confusion stuff from Phantasmal Flames, which I actually played some. It's like kind of okay, I guess, but I don't think I played this stadium in that deck. Because it's also when they evolve or devolve, so they need to be playing specifically evolve, because like they're not going to be devolving unless you're doing that to them, which is like bad, because if you don't have the stadium in play, then they recover. Then also if they bump it, they also recover. So like it's really bad, or like really really meaningless there. But then it's when they evolve, so they need to be playing an evolution deck. And then they need to be evolving a lot and like attacking with those Pokemon that they're evolving with, which like realistically this will only matter like twice during a game or something. And then they could also bump it, right? They could bump it and it doesn't do anything. then that applies to like any disruptive stadium, but like the upside isn't very high. It's very niche. In the decks it's useful, in the situations it's useful in. It's essentially never good. Um, but like if you're playing a confusion deck, I could see playing this card. It's not good, as I said, but it does like something sometimes. And then moving on to the next card here. This one I guess also could be good, but I've never actually seen this one played. Let me check here. Yeah, okay. It's not been played in city leagues at all. You could pair it with TM Machine, which by the way, TM Machine's also bad, but TM Machine is not on the bottom 10 in my opinion. But TM Fluorite here is a card that you can attach to a Pokemon. It's a TM. This is the only TM that's not rotating in the upcoming rotation, which is like kind of funny. It's also very bad, obviously, but it lets you use the Fluorite attack. And then you discard at the end of your turn as well, the TM. And yeah, this is a tool that says for Grass, Water, Psychic, you discard all energy. The attack Fluorite says you discard all the energy from this Pokemon and heal all damage from each of your Terra Pokemon. Healing all the damage from each of your Terra Pokemon is okay. Healing attacks are generally bad, but they can be all right. And then the attack cost is like kind of unpayable. I mean, it's like not. I don't know. It's about as bad as Pikachu EX's attack, which is payable. But also Pikachu EX has like the strongest attack in the basic in the game, essentially, and in addition to a defensive ability, which is very good. Um, this obviously doesn't have any of that. I mean, it's a tool. You could give it to, I guess, a good defensive Pokemon, but then it to be being hit into. I guess it actually kind of works with Pikachu EX, but like not really, because you lose all the energy, you lose the tool, and then you heal a little bit. Like it's so expensive to do this, and the upside's so bad. Like it's not a useless upside, but it's a bad upside. And then it's like it's unpayable. And the idea with healing attacks, they can be good if you repeat them, but you cannot loop this like at all. Again, you lose all the energy, you lose the tool. You can't power glass this because you have the tool on when you attack. Like what is this? This card's so bad. This is the worst card. This is like not the worst card in the game. There are two worse than it, in my opinion, but they're kind of special cases, as you'll see. So you could count this as the worst trainer in the game if you want to, and I would not blame you at all. This card's so bad. I like don't really know why it exists. Then we have also it only heals Terras. Like that's niche. Anyway, so then we have Celebratory Fanfare. This card one I kind of forgot about, but apparently this card's not legal in Japan. It came out in Japan in the Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield eras, and then it came out, but it didn't come out internationally then, and now it's come out internationally um, with Mega. I don't know. I have no idea really the history behind this card. I think I made a video on this card. I don't know. This is like a big mess, but anyways, this card says it's a stadium. Once during each player's turn, they can heal 10 from each of their Pokemon, and then their turn ends if you did anything with it. So um, yeah, that's bad. I mean, healing 10 to each of your Pokemon is okay, but ending your turn is not. That's like bad, right? Like this card doesn't really do very much for ending your turn, right? If you look at ending your turn cards, I mean most ending your turn cards are bad, right? Let's be honest. But they're like crazy draw cards, or they're like crazy search cards, which are kind of similar. Like Steven's Resolve, there's like Katie. Katie's bad. Katie's pretty bad, but Steven's Resolve was good in the end of your turn, but it searched for literally 3 cards of your choosing. But yeah, I mean, Celebratory Fanfare is this card is so bad. Like there's not really much redeeming factor. I mean, healing 10 from all your Pokemon isn't even that good. I guess if you did this every turn, there was the stadium. Is this even in standard? It can't be in standard. It's the World's promo Champions Festival, I think. Yeah, this is not currently in standard. It was most recently printed at the end of the Sword and Shield. Is this even the end? I don't know. Oh no, the beginning of the Sword and Shield era. Okay, so it lets you like heal 10 from each of your Pokemon if you have 6 Pokemon to play. But this is like the same thing, but it ends your turn. That stadium already was bad. And this is like even worse. That was useful a little bit against Gardevoir EX. This is not useful like like ever. I don't even know if you can get this in live, to be honest, either. I don't think you can. I've never, again, like apparently this card's playable, like legal in standard, but I don't know. But yeah, it's very bad. But the worst card is the most recent Worlds promo, which is, and sorry if there's any background noise, but it's Paradise Resort. Paradise Resort is a stadium here that says the retreat cost of each side I can play, both yours and your opponents, is one colorless less. Funnily enough, this saw some play in some city leagues. I assume people are just kind of messing around. They do run a Psyduck, so it can be used as a pivot, but they also play Latias CX and Rescue Board. So, yeah, this card is obviously bad. It is a stadium bump, as with all the stadiums, but it's like Psyduck. There's a good Psyduck in play, so at least it's kind of usable. I mean, okay, this card's also like very expensive as well. Like it's a World's promo. You can only get it from playing the World Championships, but yeah, I mean, reduce the retreat cost by one on Psyduck. Like this is purposefully bad. If you didn't know, the World Championships promos are supposed to be bad because they are really hard to get, right? So they're supposed to be like this fun thing. Which, by the way, terrible idea. I think the World's promo should be like draw 3 supporters or like an alternate art of boss or something, which would be like cool, and you could like show it off and flex it if you have it, and if you don't have it, then you can still play it if the card's good. And like this is a card that you wouldn't play because it's bad, so it's not an issue in terms of accessibility because you'd never want to play it. But then what's the point of it existing, right? It being playable like at all, like literally able to be played. But yeah, this card like obviously it's bad. It doesn't really do anything. Psyduck is okay. I don't know, like what are we even supposed to say about this card? It's just like a nothing stadium. Theoretically that as a stadium bump is like okay, but like presumably you'll have a stadium that helps you a little more than it helps your opponent in like every deck in the game if you want it, essentially. So yeah, this is so bad, right? This card is just like horrendously bad, and it is a weird case. As I said, TM Fluorite is arguably the worst card in the game. TM Fluorite's so bad. There's so many like terrible trainers going into this. I don't know. I thought there was like a lot of like Raifort like kind of does something, and I guess Caretaker kind of does something, and Transfer's bargain. Like there's some like cards that like do something, but like this doesn't do anything. Again, it is a stadium. But tell me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on the bottom trainers here. But I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell, all the good stuff. I hope you have a good Christmas. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.